Assalamu alaikum, dear students. Previously, we studied about the 20th century era characteristics, that what was actually the characteristics prevailing in the 20th century, and what were the characteristics of the drama and the poetry. So the main element that we came to know previously about the 20th century literature is that there was the era of the pessimism, like the people were so much badly affected with the effects of the war, and there is the difference between upper and lower class, and there was everywhere there was pessimism, like people were thinking negatively, and the dramatists and poets were also depicting that thing in their writing. So in today's topic we are going to study the poem of a 20th century, The Hollow Men by T.S. Eliot. And T.S. Eliot was the poet of the 20th century literature, and the T.S. Eliot wrote the poem on the the devastations caused by the industrialization and the sad dilemma of the modern man, and how modern man has become so empty by soul. As I told you before, that in 20th century the faith of from God or religion disappears. The people are no more into the morality and into the good deeds and into the fear of the God or the religion. The people move towards the science. So this thing made the people empty spiritually. They lost their spiritual inner being. So the T.S. Eliot mainly wrote about those things, and in this poem he also wrote about the emptiness of the modern men, spiritually and mentally emptiness, that they have lost their faith on God. The Hollow Men is a poem by the American modernist poet T.S. Eliot, first published in 1925. Uncanny and dreamlike, The Hollow Men describes a desolate world. So here uncanny means strange, and dreamlike, like strange. Hollow means empty, men means men. The poet is actually talking about many people, many men. Describes a desolate world. Desolate means barren, populated by empty, defeated people, though the speaker describes these people as dead and the world they inhabit as the underworld. Underworld means the death, the world of the dead people. The poem shouldn't be read as simply as a description of life after death. It's also a reflection on the sorry state of European culture after the First World War. For the speaker of the poem, the horrors of the war have plunged Europe into deep despair. Like what World War has done, the horrors of the World War has pushed the Europe, the modern era, into in a state of hopelessness, so deep that European culture itself is fading away into nothingness. The Hollow Men presents a picture of unmitigated horror of modern life. It is no way relieved by a ray of hope or light. The poem is gloomy and dark, like Death's Other Kingdom. So here the unmitigated horror of modern life means that is the complete or absolute horror of modern life. So there is no hope in modern people. There is a depressing state, like a death in the whole entire kingdom. So the poem is basically divided into 5 sections. So in this video I am going to summarize those 5 sections, that what are basically the themes or the purpose of each section. Section 1, the Hollow Men, their inertia. Inertia means the Hollow Men, their tendency to do nothing, like they are they have accepted themselves the way as they are not ready to change them. This is a sort of group chant where the hollow men lament their loss of activity, their vacuity, and their emptiness. So this is in the first section of the poem. The lines describes what that is a sense of a cry of hollow men together. They are lamenting, they are expressing their grief or sorrow upon their emptiness, that they have the lack of thought or intelligence. Symbolically, the modern men are spiritually barren, lacking faith and Christian spirit. So see, I have told you before that people are lacking morality, they are lacking faith on God. So their life is one of the spiritual decay. They are like ghosts for abstractions, like they have like ghosts, like the ghosts have abstract appearance, they have not concrete appearance. So they are like present abstract, not present apparently by mind. They suffer from physical and spiritual paralysis, means disability. They are physically and spiritually disabled. They are not like the notorious men of action like Mr. Kurtz and Guy Fawkes. Of course, those persons were violent and villainous, yet they were men of action. These hollow men are leading a life like death in life. So, in poem, the poet mentioned two notorious people. That the one is Mr. Kurtz. Mr. Kurtz was the character of the Joseph Conrad's The Heart of Darkness novel. Mr. Kurtz was the trader, ivory trader, and he was very cruel. He was known to be a man of action for his cruelty. He lacks the morality level. He do not have faith in God, but he was actually cruel. He was a man of action. And Guy Fawkes was also a notorious man, a man of action. He actually attempted to kill the King James. He actually attempted to murder King James, but his plan was failed, and then he was condemned for his criminality. And so the poets say that the modern men are like that those notorious men were actually, they are notorious, they are bad, but actually they are doing something. But the modern man is actually not doing something, not bad or evil. They are just like a statue. They are living a life like dead people. The hollow men are like effigies of Guy Fawkes, fit only to be burned. Effigies mean that the people, Guy Fawkes means they are related to, the effigies mean statues that are only meant to be burned. They do not have the will to follow the example of men of action. They are tied down to a meaningless and futile routine. Like they are living a meaningless life. They are living a life that is incapable of producing anything. Eliot seems to suggest that it is better to be up and doing an evil than to be doing nothing at all. So it's better to become the bad people like Guy Fawkes or the Mr. Kurtz than to do instead of doing nothing. Then section 2 describes the death's two kingdoms. The protagonist, who represents the poet, expressed his fear of death. There are two kingdoms of death. One is the death's other world, that is the life after death, and the other is dream's death kingdom, that is the world of hollow men, which is state of spiritual death. So basically, there in section 2 there is the description by the poet is of the two worlds. One world that is the life after death, the real death world, and one world is the one which hollow men are living, that is the world in which they are actually alive, but they are living the life like dead people, like spiritually dead people. No spiritual strength, no sense of doing anything, no sense of capability of producing something. They are spiritually dead. They are hollow, they are empty people. The hollow men would like to go over to the death's real kingdom, that is the other world, but they do not have the strength to face the eyes of those men of action died before them, and would look upon them with scorn and reproach. So poet is saying that the hollow man wants to go, just they are living their life as dead people, and they are waiting for the real death life, that is the life after death. And they were afraid of facing those people who died before them, that they were the men of action, that they would look upon them with disappointment. Actually, the hollow men are afraid of facing the sharp eyes of Charon, the ferryman, who can take him to the other world. So in both ways, the hollow man can neither face the reality of life and not the reality of death. So the Charon, the ferryman, was, according to the Greek mythology, a person who takes a coin and take the people to the death world. So the hollow men are not ready to face the reality of what they are living the life, and they are not capable of facing the reality after life, of life after the death. So on both sides they are empty. The world of hollow men is like the dream world, meaningless and futile. They are like the lotus eaters. Lotus eaters means a person who spent just time in life pleasures, and the person has no interest in the practical concerns, and who cannot face the responsibilities of life. To avoid the world of action, the protagonist would like to disguise himself as a scarecrow, or as a rat running on a dead grass, or as a mock crucifix. So the protagonist wants to avoid the world of action, and he wants to hide himself as a scarecrow or as a rat. Like he wants to, the modern people wants to are not ready to take their responsibilities. They just want to sit idle, and they want to hide their original personalities. So he likes passive and inert life, so as to evade all duties and responsibilities. Passive means non-active, inert means emotional life. He has no courage to face death. He is quite happy with his own condition of death and life. So this is all about the second section. The third section is about a dead land. The hollow men live in a dead land, a land spiritually barren and sterile. Instead of worshipping Christ, they worship stone images. Spiritual truths are as far from them as a fading star. As a star fades down, the spirituality has faded from the mind from the inner self of the modern man. The hollow men wonder if death's other kingdom, the other world, is also like their own desolate land. Is the life after death similar to the one that the hollow men are leading? So the person who is actually the speaker of the poem is wondering that if the life after death would be the same as the life the hollow men are living, like the barren and without any meaning. Here they get up and kiss the lips of images they love and worship. How much difference the life in the other world would be. Like here what people are doing, they are just loving the statues, the stone images, or they are not doing anything. Will it be totally different from or similar to the life they are leading? The person is questioning to himself that the comparison is made between this life and the other life. That would it be like the same as the hollow men living their life? We may sympathize with their lack of knowledge and their desire to continue their present pattern of life in death's other kingdom. How foolish it is to wish that the next life, that is life after death, to be a continuation of their present way of life. They are shocked by the assumption that the routine in the modern life will come to an end, and when they pass from this life to the next, they are not in a position to reconcile themselves to any life other than the one which they are leading. So this is actually a sad dilemma, that the people are sad that their routine matter would get disturbed if they pass from this life to the other life. They are not ready to change their fate. They are not ready to change their present life. They just want to live the same life as they are living, like the life like a dead people. Then section 4, the hollow men are sightless. The hollow men lack the eyes of will and action, like means they are actionless people. They group in this dark and dismal valley, so they blindly searched in this dark kingdom, and the kingdom was very depressing. They are speechless, awaiting their fate. They do not question about their fate. They are speechless. Their life has been a useless drift without any purpose. In this last kingdom, they have no indication of any goal or achievement. In this miserable condition, the hollow men assemble on the banks of the river on the underworld, waiting for a Charon, the ferryman, to take them across to death's other world. So what they are doing, they are living a life without any goal, and thus just they gather on the bank of the river, where the Charon, the ferryman, the person who takes the people to the other world, that is the death world, they are just waiting for that person to take them to the other world. Like they are living in this world as they have no purpose of living. They're just waiting for their death to come. They are full of despair because they have no vision of faith in God. So loss of faith in God is the main purpose of this poem. Faintly they hope that as the eyes of Beatrice guided Dante to paradise, in the same way the eyes of Virgin Mary, the multifoliate rose, would appear to them and guide them to death's other kingdom. So as in the paradise, the Beatrice guided Dante to go to the paradise, the same way they hope that the Virgin Mary would guide them to enter the paradise. It may mean that like the purpose of actually the poet is actually that the hollow men thinks that they will go to the paradise, but actually it is not the scene. It's actually not happening, because they have no faith in God. And how come they will go to the paradise? They have no morality, they have no moral values, and they are just in a hope that Virgin Mary would take them to the paradise. They guide them to the way to the paradise, but this is not actually going to happen. This is just their hope, but they think that they get saved from the hell, but this is not actually the case, because if they have no faith in God, how they would get saved from the harms of the hell? Section 5, the shadow of fear. The hollow men, like the nursery children, follow a life of routine and meaningless singing. Instead of, like as the nursery child lives meaningless life, the hollow men are living the same. Instead of going around the mulberry tree, a fruitful act, they go around the prickly pear, which can offer nothing but thorns to them. So instead of doing something that gives a fruitful act, that gives them something better, they go around a prickly pear, means they go around the cactus-like plant, which gives them the thorns, nothing else. Secondly, they are shadowed by fear and doubt. Their intentions may be good, but their actual performance is nil. Their intention may be good, like they may have good intentions about the world, but they are not performing good. This is because their spirit is weak. They are unable to make up their demands, and therefore postpone decision and commitment. This failure on their path to act and to move forward is the greatest hurdle in their march onward. Unless they replace doubt by faith, hesitation by commitment, and pray positively for divine grace, they cannot be saved. Like the poet wants to say that unless they do not remove their doubt on God, they do not make their spirituality like they do not give strength to their spiritual inner, unless they would not be saved and they would not be provided with the divine grace. The nursery rhyme about the end of the world, which Guy Fawkes intended but which actually led to his own execution and subsequently to the burning of his effigy, shows that the hollow men will leave this world whispering about their failure and frustration. The hollow men cannot be saved because they are not worth saving. As the Guy Fawkes was not saved, similarly the hollow men would also not get saved in the next world. They will go to the hell unless they accept their faults and they return their faiths to the God. They cannot even mumble their prayer for the Lord's grace. They die with a sense of defeat. Their life has been a kind of whimper indicating fear and damnation. So they die with a sense of defeat. So they have a fear that they will give a punishment, eternal punishment in the hell. So The Hollow Men is a personal poem. It presents the poet's view on contemporary life, on modern life. It is a cry of despair unrelieved by hope. Modern civilization, which is the pride of many nations, has been shown as negative and lacking all the values of life. So this is all about the summary of the poem The Hollow Men, representing a satire on the modern world, modern civilizations, and the emptiness and nothingness of the people. So this is the reference. You can take the guide from this as well. Thank you. Allah Hafiz.